Welcome to the Dalorrian show. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas out there in the world. We made it again. We have gotten back around to Christmas yet again. And not much has changed. And I'm your host, Dalorrian, of this Christmas spectacular sing-along show tune Broadway podcast show where we sing all the songs of Wicked but change it into Christmas songs. It's a 6-hour podcast. And we're starting now. 1 and a 2 and I have been to 2 Christmases in the past 2 days. If you're listening to this, the earliest you will listen to this would be Christmas Eve. And I've done 2, but 2, like one of them was kind of 2 in 1. And I have my own personal Christmas that I'm doing on Christmas Day with my wife and children. And then there's one more Christmas I think that we're going to do like on New Year's Day. So all told, that's like 5 if you count it up. It's like 5. And boy, I feel bloated. And it's kind of hot. You know, when it's cold, feeling bloated is almost like, it almost feels good to feel bloated. But when it's like mid temperature, or hot, it feels like you're just spilling out of your clothes. And that's how I feel. I just kind of feel like I'm a little out of breath. And I'm falling out of my clothes a little. Like my boob is going to fall out before this podcast is over. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm wearing this Santa hat in solidarity of Christmas. No, but this is the only one I could find, and it's a Mickey Mouse version. I'm sorry. My children like Disney, like many others, and my wife has done a good job of indoctrinating them into that zeitgeist. That's probably not the right word, but it's probably not the right word. Into that culture, the Disney culture. But yeah, so I'm a little worn out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am falling asleep at weird times throughout the day. We are still battling the children for every inch of sanity and land, and it's all good. I mean, it's all good. You know, Christmas with little kids, like one of the Christmases that I go to has like 6 children under the age of 4, like 4 and under. So it's a bunch of little toddlers, and they're all just running and falling and laughing, fighting a little, not too much, yelling, you know, and it's a little chaotic, but like, you know, it's kind of cool too that they a bunch of cousins get to spend the holidays together, because Christmas is kind of magical for children. For me, you give me a 6-pack of Miller High Lifes, a couple stacks of ibuprofen. Let me leave my pants off for the day. Maybe watch some TV in the morning. Walk outside with my dog in the late morning. And then just play some games. Maybe get into the bath at some point. Get a bath, maybe. That sounds pretty good. But yeah, right now I wish I had a swimming pool, honestly. It's kind of hot out here. I'd probably take a dip. Truly, I think I would take a dip. That's why I have hashtag goals. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag goals to maybe one day have a swimming pool. But everyone who has a swimming pool says, don't do it. It's the worst. I'm like, well, it doesn't look like the worst when you're in there, ass. They're like, yeah, but the worst. I think people with pools, I think there's a conspiracy where like they don't want you to have a pool because then if you have a pool, it's like it cancels out like their pool. You know what I mean? Because like if they have a pool and everybody got a pool, they'd be like, why do I have this? Everybody else has got one. I could be wrong. I probably am. I've never had a pool, private pool in my stead in any point of my life, as a child or otherwise. So I think it would be kind of neat, but we need space more than a pool. So I'm willing to kind of cut some corners on some dreams. If you call that a dream, it could very well end up being a nightmare. But yeah, we're all tired here. We're all tired. We're retired. We're getting retired every night, baby. But we've been playing a lot of games, and that's what this podcast is about. You're here, and you're like, wait, what is this about? What is he? Who is he? Why is he saying this? Delete him. I hope he dies. I hope you don't say that. I hope you don't say that at all. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of games. You're like, Dalorrian, didn't you just say that you're tired and you don't have time for games? Baby, I make time. And I had the wonderful, wonderful blessing of being able to play with a couple of old chums who live in a couple different cities, and we don't get to play a lot, but we were able to play for way too many hours. I think we played for like 8 hours on what must have been Saturday night, and we'll get into that. There's 2 separate videos that will go up on YouTube there in the coming days of that night. But I want to talk about some games that are on my radar. We're not going to talk about WoW today because, WoW is going to be here before you know it. With January 12th is pre-patch for the Burning Crusade on the anniversary servers. And if I don't have things done that I want done then, it might be too bad. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna try to go pretty good and hard on that. I'm excited about it. I never played TBC, the Burning Crusade. If I keep saying TBC, you may not know what that is. World of Warcraft. It's a video game. Have you heard of it? It was on the South Park episode. But yeah, so that's going to happen. And then the midnight pre-patch happens. God, is it February? I've been doing the pre-patches for retail and then playing retail for the past few expansions, like going in on it, like on release. And then I usually drop off for a while. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that this time. And I don't know if I'm truly compelled to do so. Like, even though with the housing and everything, I don't know, man. The housing is just like whatever to me. It doesn't it's kind of too late. I don't think I get the novelty, and the ladies love it. Ladies love house building. Have we talked about this? Ladies love The Sims, and ladies love WoW Retail. And then if you put houses in WoW Retail and you make it like The Sims, but then you say, hey, go collect things for your house in the rest of the game, the ladies are going to just lose their minds. Oh my God, it's so cute. And to be fair, it is cute. But I built a couple houses whenever it released earlier, and it was like, all right, okay, I get it. There's not anything, I don't feel like you can really do anything. I think you can chop some wood in the neighborhood. I think there's going to be neighborhood quest. It's just a little, World of Warcraft is like, World of Warcraft retail is, it's like if you had a basketball player, like a really good basketball player, and let's say LeBron James, and you said, all right, LeBron's going to play a pickup basketball game with us today. And you're like, oh shit. And LeBron James gets out on the court with you and your friends or whoever. And he's like, yo, what's up? I'm WoW Retail or something like that. And you expect him to be LeBron James. You expect him to be World of Warcraft. And he's just kind of half-assing, which is okay because, you know, you're out here playing a pickup game. But not only is like he's half-assing, yes, but like he misses every shot. And it's the ball's like all around the goal, you know, and so he throws it up brick, air ball, and you're like, damn, he has everything he needs to make every shot and every play decision to be a success. But he's just off a little. He's just slightly off. And it's like, I can't explain it, but it's like almost worth analyzing, because how could he be off? He's I don't think this, but a lot of people are like, he's the GOAT, right? He's the GOAT. He's the greatest. Witness me, right? Whatever. Michael Jordan. Anyway, listen, that's not the point. He's out there and he's missing everything. He doesn't make a shot for the whole game, but it looks good doing it. And here's the weird thing. He celebrates it anyway. It doesn't go in and he's like, yeah. Jogs back on defense. Like he just made it. Like he just made it. Like he's like, he throws it up. You know, like, damn, looks like it's going in. It doesn't go in. He's like, oh, aced him all day. And then he does his head like this. And he's like, yeah. And then he runs to the defense, checking his phone and stuff. But yeah, like, that's World of Warcraft retail. It has everything it needs to be a super success. And yet it's always slightly off. But then it's like, yeah, we did great. We did it. Isn't this great? This is great, right, everyone? And to be fair, it probably is great. Like, if you look at the numbers, if you look at like the subscriptions, and I think they've come out with that recently, it probably is great. Anyway, I said we were going to talk about WoW, and then you bastards got me in again. This is your fault. I'm blaming you for my problems. So, World of Warcraft. That will be something we do again. No one worry. Arc Raiders. Let's talk about Arc Raiders. I got a text from my boy Jack Lars, and he's like, bro, I forgot to do my expedition. And I know him, and he's been kind of teetering on, like, I don't know if I'm going to play this game anymore. And the fact that he missed that, and now there's like 2 months until there's another expedition, I can tell he's just tilted in a way where he's like, peace. Like, I think if I really begged him to play that game again, I don't know if he would. Maybe he would. I don't think he would. But I did my expedition. I did like the day before it was over. And to be fair, like, I almost forgot. Truly, like, I almost missed it. I had like 18 hours left. And I was like, yeah, send it. And there was like a little cutscene, and I kind of missed it or whatever. And then I realized, you know, I knew the skills were going to go away. I only got one extra skill point because I had like 1.1 million or something. You have to have 1 million per skill point. You can have up to 5. It's so much. Then I realized like everything resets. The chicken, all the workshop stations. I knew the blueprints would start over. I knew all my loot would start over. And you get like an outfit. You get the 1 extra skill point starting out. And I was like, I'm going to turn this off right now. And it's like, on one hand, as I've complained before, the game needs things to go out and loot. And there's like a Christmas thing going on, like a Christmas season, where it's like you can go out in the snow and you may freeze to death, but it's like whatever, you know, it's like a night raid or something, but it's like a mode. It's like a snow mode. And you can get in there and you can like collect berries, like Christmas berries and other items, and then you can unlock things. like store credit or whatever, and it's like a little mini season where there are things you have to collect. On top of that, now I have to like recollect everything for every table I leveled up, which I played really hard and I played really long to unlock all of those tables. And I was under the impression those tables would stay, which they did not. And I think that I did want them to stay. Like, I'm thinking about that. A lot of people were pissed about it, because I think it wasn't clear that that was going to happen. And I'm not pissed about that game. Like, what is the opposite of love? You may think to yourself, the answer is hate. That is not the answer. The answer is indifference. Indifference. Not caring. Apathy. That is the opposite of love. You could care less about this thing. And this game is just fallen into that column for me, where I'm like, I just don't think I can do this right now. And it's almost like, I feel like, and I think I even put this on the YouTube whenever we played, like, for a couple weeks there, and we put it up on YouTube, our playthrough of it. And I said, like, once I leveled up all my tables, I was like, we beat the game. And in my head, I feel like we beat the game. And so what this feels like is a true, like, it feels like a new account, and like one skill point and a skin, which the skin's fine. It's almost like I just lost my account and I have to start over. That's how it feels. It doesn't really feel like, oh, I earned this. Oh, I got to the next thing. It's like, hey, hey man, you played our game. Do you want to just replay all the content for really no reason at all? And though it's fun and it's hot, and I know Burnt Peanut's out there doing it. All the streamer boys are out there doing it. A lot of people are diving in. I was talking to one of my boys at Christmas. He is in on it heavy every night. He reset and he's out there grinding every night and he's loving it. And there's no shame. And like, I totally get that. And hell, I might even play with him. I might even log on and play around with him. Give me a Stitcher and just let him kill everybody and let me take all the stuff. I don't know. But that game still is so good at creating really good, authentic moments. So I give credit where credit is due, but I feel like I've done it. It's like, hey, let's take a trip to a town. Let's just say like New York. Let's go to New York. Okay. You go to New York, you spend a couple weeks, you feel like you just kind of do it all. You go to a game, you go to a show, Broadway, Times Square, Rockefeller Plaza, like whatever. You just kind of do the New York thing. And now there's like, maybe this is a bad thing to say because there's a lot to do in New York, but still. Then a month later, somebody's like, let's go back to New York. And you're like, that's not bad. And I would recommend anyone go to New York and spend a week or two, because it's a fantastic, fun city to spend in. Like, it's a whole unique thing. You should absolutely go to New York. It's Christmas. Hey, it's Christmas in New York. It's got wonderful food. It's like it's culturally crazy. You should absolutely go to New York for like a week or two. I would tell anybody to do that. But if my buddy calls me up, he's like, hey man, we just went to New York and did everything. It's been 2 months. You want to go back? No, I feel like we did it, man. I mean, I love New York. I love that trip that we took, but I feel like we already did it. So, like, you want to go somewhere else? Nah, bro, I want to get back in on fucking New York. I love it. I love New York. Okay, bro. I'm not going. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going. We just went to New York. Give me like a year. Give me a year, maybe 2. Things will change. I'll forget. I'll go back to New York and I'll love it. Like, I'm glad I came back. And that is Arc Raiders. I guess today, we're going to just have examples for everything. Let's keep going here. Man, some of these anime gotcha games have got their claws in me right now. Let's go ahead and talk about Wuthering Waves a little bit. I am still playing Wuthering Waves. I've streamed it a few times, and we've had a few people come into the stream who are really helpful, because with gotcha games, as you may or may not know, They have a million currencies. They have a million things to do and collect, and it takes a minute to figure out what the hell is going on. And if you can give yourself like a day to figure out what the hell is going on, typically, and like seriously, in most of the gacha games I've ever played, typically there's kind of a nice game in there. There's kind of a nice game underneath all of the literal trappings, the literal temptations to spend money. But I would say I've played Genshin, I've played Honky Star Rail, Honky Star Rail. There's another game that I've played. We'll talk about in a little bit. I'm not proud of it, but we'll talk about it. I never played Tower of Fantasy. I think there's like another one I played. I thought maybe not. Anyway, now I've tried Wuthering Waves. I have gotten Calcharo, who is a good, we'll call him a B tier DPS. Sephiroth looking dude, really cool. Does lightning with a big sword. Lightning damage, really fun to play. And then I pulled Brolova, which is a blonde girl who wears a red dress. She's kind of like the paintress from Expedition 33. Like I think she like I think what she does is she has like a paintbrush and she paints, and it's like, and this statue lady comes out of her and then hits the enemies like at range. And it's really nice because it like, one, it pops them up. So as you're damaging them, they're being stunned as well. So it's like you're just, and I don't even have her leveled up as much as I can because I again, I don't want to get maybe too deep into this, but like I can't farm her items to level her up to from 40 to 50 yet. I'm going to push the story and get into the next continent. Like, you know, these maps are sometimes big. I got to get to like the next continent and then I can farm her pieces and then she can become bigger. But at level 40, even at level 40, and I'm fighting like level 43 things, she's still beating ass. And I'll say like he pops them up and hits them, and then her ultimate ability, she just is floating in the sky basically. She's sitting on the swing and her little puppet is just beating the hell out of all the enemies for like a long period of time. So you're just doing damage, but you cannot take damage. And then there's some other things in there where like you can call on your other people and let them do damage with your puppet. I mean, it's a little confusing, but it's a good character. I've spent no money. I have just given what the game has given me, and I've pulled that. I have not pulled the healer that I want to pull yet, but I look forward in doing so. And, you know, this game, I'm going to have to just kind of go with it. Like, again, if you want to play the meta, if you want to get like the team, there's like a team of 3 in this game. If you want to get all your characters lined up and kind of do the thing for the end game, you can go ahead, spend some money, roll the dice. But this game is so much more generous, it feels like, than the Hoyoverse games, which again is Honkai Star Rail, then Zone Zero, which I have not tried, maybe I will, and then Genshin Impact. Those games, like I remember playing Genshin Impact, and I remember there was a dude with red hair that was like the best at the time. I don't remember his name, guys. He was a dude, he was an anime dude with red hair, and I remember he was like the S tier best guy you could get. And I was like, how could I get him? And it was like, you would have to spend like an infinite amount of time. It was like, you will never get him. You will never get him unless you spend money. And when you spend money, even then you're probably never going to get him. That's the way Genshin felt. And I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on it. This does not feel like that. I'm like, if I just play the game a little bit here and there, I'm going to get enough rolls. Like I can kind of get some people that are 5-star. I can get some weapon 5-star. It's like, if I spent money, I could probably do it like instantly. But for where I am in the game, I need to like push the story anyway before I can really get to the end game anyway. So it feels kind of nice. I'm not bottlenecked. Now, towards the end game, maybe I will be. You know, I could see that happening. That's a real thing that could happen. But so far, if someone said, hey, would you play Wuthering Waves? I'm like, if you can handle eating the gacha bloat at the beginning, I think I would recommend that game to people. And I would say for the story stuff, don't be afraid to skip. There are story things that happen and none of them are super compelling right now. The side stories can be like there's some character side stories. They're kind of okay. But this is just a well-made game. It's made by Cura Games, and I have not looked up if they've made anything else. But like, if they're going to be a gacha company, I would be more excited. Like I want Cura Games to come out with their own version of Honkai Star Rail, because I love the turn-based. I love turn-based games. And Wuthering Waves is not that. It's an action game, and it's fine. At first, I was like, this is intimidating. This is way too fast. There's too much shit going on. I'm not going to be able to do this well. And maybe that'll be the case, but it looks crazier than it is, I'll say. And actually, it's kind of satisfying for action combat. But yeah, I would love like a turn-based game like Honkai Star Rail. And I might play Honkai Star Rail again now that haven't played it in a long time. But there are only so many days and hours, and there's only so many games you can play under the sun, right? So that's Wuthering Waves. If you like gacha games you haven't tried out yet, I think it's fun, man. I'm sure anybody on the internet could have problems with it. I think it's better than the Oyuverse games so far. Haven't tried ZZZ, but it's not as time wasty. It doesn't feel like. Animal Crossing, I will mention, still playing that with the missus. We logged on last night. Well, was it last night? Maybe the night before, very late. I'd collected a lot of things to give her character and take back to her island. It's Christmas on the island. I'm just kind of grinding out, collecting things. It's just you log on for 10 minutes a day, collect your stuff, and enjoy the cuteness and the chillness of it, and then you're done. If you want to go hard on Animal Crossing, you can, but that's kind of just how I've been playing it. Now, let's talk about the games I played with the boys. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Have you heard of it? It's a beat 'em up. It's a 2D, old school looking and feeling arcade beat them up with Marvel heroes who are more in more of the cosmic fashion. You are fighting enemies who are like Venom, Silver Surfer, MODOK. Galactus is in there. That's all I'll say. Some dudes I've never heard of. And so I came in. So the boys, whenever I started streaming and playing, the boys had already started the campaign. And I dropped in, and I don't really know how far they were. They were probably like an hour in. I'm just going to guess they were like an hour in, but I don't know. It was easy to drop in, and I just, we were just kind of picking people at random. I don't think I ever played Captain America, but, I played Wolverine. I didn't play Nova. As you progress, you fight bosses who then you can play with, which is interesting. So like we fought against the Phoenix, Jean Grey, and we eventually had her and played as her a little bit. Iron Man, Beta Ray Bill, which is just Thor. She-Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, Nova's in there. There's a girl with the sword who's not magic, who is pretty cool. Eventually you can play as Venom and the Silver Surfer. And, it kind of reminded me of the Ninja Turtles game that came out a year or two ago. It was kind of like the new Ninja Turtle game, and which was really fun. And I played a lot of that with some friends. And, this game I think this game's a little pricey for what it is. Again, I didn't play all of it, but we did beat it. And I don't know if there's a hard, it didn't seem like there was like a harder difficulty. It seemed like you just replay it again. Your characters do level up to 10. It seems like none of my characters were at 10. Like, again, we were kind of passing them around, and the last boss was actually really tough. We wiped a couple times. But my favorite, actually, surprisingly, ended up being She-Hulk and Rocket Raccoon. And before you say, ew, they were just fun to play. Like, you want to have a flying person and not a flying person, and I did not play it that way. The Rocket Raccoon's kit and Ultimate I really liked. The guns, he could just kind of punch on people's heads over and over again. And then She-Hulk was fun because she could grab even bosses. You could just grab people by the faces and just like kick them across the screen, or kick them all like into holes, or drag their faces on the ground and then throw them. And would it have been cooler if it was just the Hulk? Sure. but it wasn't. It was the She-Hulk, and that was just super satisfying to me. So yeah, that's kind of who I stuck with. And these games are like, I always think when we play games like this, like that are like old, new games that are old style, I guess we'll say. I think about like how these games would have been the most popular games of all time. These games, like this game would have been like kind of historic, because like, you have like little things in it where you can change like what your outfit looks like before you get in. You unlock players to play with, bosses that you beat, join your team and stuff. And these are things that are just did not exist in the 80s and 90s with these like 2D beat 'em up arcade games. There was no customization or progression really at all. It was like, can you beat the game? And maybe like a high score. And that was it. Like, how many quarters is it going to take you? Blah, blah, blah. And they were really fun back then. But it's funny how you can just put like two little systems in. And like, I think of a game, I think if I could take Marvel Cosmic Invasion and I could take it back to 1995 or something like that and put that in the hands of anyone in an arcade or in a Nintendo or whatever the hell, a SNES, whatever, a Sega Genesis. People would remember it like it was the best game they'd ever played. They'd be like, that game was so cool. You could change your color. You unlock the bosses. Like I played through that game and got leveled everybody up to level 10. And then I was able to like not die for an entire playthrough as Captain America. I never took damage or something. Like, people would have gooned. Is that the right word? Gooned over this game. And so I always try to remember that perspective. And when we're playing Octopath Traveler 0, it's the same thing. Octopath Traveler 0 is such a phenomenal game within the context of you see what it's emulating and you see what it's doing. It's like a new game with like some newer systems and new trappings, but it's the old style JRPG, and boy, it feels good. And it's the same with Marvel Cosmic Invasion. And yeah, we've been playing Octopath as well. Not as much. I've only been able to play it a little bit, but that's the same thing, right? Like, that game is so good. That game's long. Like, I am 30 something hours in to Octopath Traveler 0. And I want to say I saw somewhere that it's like a 100-hour game, and I'm kind of nervous because I thought I would be done with it before WoW Classic pre-patch. And I've only played that game on stream. I'm not playing any story or any of that game off of stream. And I'm only streaming it like once or twice a week. And now I am worried, because I'm a level 29 and I think the cap is 99 and I think endgame is level 60 or 70. And I'm in Act 2 of the game, or what I think is Act 2 of the game, and it is expanding in a way that I did not expect. I was like, oh, this chapter 3 is going to be the end of Act 2. It is not. They're stretching it. And it's not so bad that they're stretching it, but boy, I'm like, damn, this is going to be long. Which again is a beautiful thing. That's not a problem. The problem is like me bouncing my time to play all of these games. Think of what I've listed. Wuthering Waves, WoW, Octopath Traveler 0, Arc Raiders, time-consuming games. But yeah, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, I don't know if I would have played that by myself and enjoyed it at all. Playing it with the boys, just dropping in, was worth it. I don't regret my purchase, but I think it's a little pricey for what it is. And if you're thinking about it, if you don't have a buddy that you're going to play with, do not buy this game. And I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's actually a really good game for what it is. I just think it's a little pricey. I just think like $20 is max. Really 15, like 10 or 15, man. Now, it very well could be, when I was looking at the menus, maybe there's like a new game plus or something. Maybe there's something that I missed that opens up. I don't think so. And for me, if I'm going to give a game some money, like $30, I need some replayability. I need something to do. And there is like an unlock thing. There's like a big honeycomb. There's a big hexagon thing where you can choose unlocks, and it unlocks like costumes, I think, and stuff. And you could unlock all of that just replaying the game over and over. I don't know. I'd say maybe wait for a sell on this one, guys. But it was fun. I don't regret playing it. I really enjoyed it. But I enjoyed hanging with the boys more than the game. But it was a fun game. I'm really and I'm not a hater of Marvel either. I'm really looking forward to that Marvel fighting game, and I don't do fighting games. But boy, I think we're gonna play that fighting game. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Marvel Hakoi. Marvel. Let's see. Marvel new fighting game. Oh, Marvel Tokon 2026. Man, it's just that's Marvel, but it looks like Japanese and anime. And as I said, I'm playing a lot of that right now. And like the idea of Iron Man looking like a Gundam, it's like that's so obvious, isn't it? Storm is built like a brick shit house, as my dad used to say. Like if it's an Asian game, like the ladies are gonna be full bodied, and nice. It's not gonna be like the West where it's like, how do we flatten their boobs and butt? But let's give the guys bulges. It's like, look, man, separate but equal, whatever. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get that game day one. And I'm not a fighting game guy. It's just like, just give me more of this. Because here's the thing, like if Marvel Tokon was like a Marvel Heroes game and it was that style, or like another kind of doesn't have to be an MMO, but I like some depth to my games. Boy, I'd be a little hard for that, you know what I'm saying? Not to be gross. All right. There's one other game that I want to talk about, and this is a confession. This is embarrassing, but I own it, and I'm not ashamed. I plan on telling my wife at some point that I'm playing this game, but I just haven't figured out how. But I will tell her. As a reminder, please sub on YouTube. Because if you sub on YouTube, I'm less likely to get a divorce, and I would like to see my kids. You're not just subbing to some guy. On YouTube, you're saving a family. Save my family today. And subscribe on YouTube. Okay. My friends, quote unquote friends, wanted me to play a game after we beat Cosmic Invasion. A game called UmaMusume Pretty Derby. Now, you may have heard of this game. And I'm going to explain this game to you as best as I can. And the thing about this game is no matter how I explain it to you, you're going to think it's creepy and cringe. Well, if you're a gamer listening to this, maybe you're not. Maybe you're gonna be like, no, I'm not. No, this is my favorite game. And like, hey. I'm not gonna play this game in front of my parents. I'm not gonna play this game in front of. I'll do it on the internet in front of the world. In front of the world, but maybe not in front of my daughters. Anyway, what is this game, Dalorrian? I'm just going to tell you at the surface what this game is. Well, number one, it is a gacha game. I want to say off the rip, it is probably the most generous gacha game I've ever seen, and I don't see how anyone would really feel the need to spend money on this game. The gameplay loop is really good and really satisfying. Maybe the most satisfying gacha loop of all time. Almost too satisfying because you don't really have to spend money to feel like you're getting everything out of the game. So let me say that off the top. Okay? We're building a narrative here. We're building a case for my innocence. Now, what is the game at surface level. It is a racing game, but also a visual novel game. Almost a dating sim. And it's anime girls who are they seem to all be in high school. Some have bigger breasts than others, I've noticed. And the girls are horses. Okay? Now, let me describe this to you in a way that you will understand. You could obviously Google this. You may already know about this. In Japan, by the way, this is very normal. There's a lot of games like this already in Japan. This has just happened to take off in the West. And by the way, this is the mobile game of the year in 2025 at the Game Awards. So I'm not just seeking out something here. Okay, this won awards. So they're girls. So they're horses. No, okay, they're girls. They're anime high school girls, and they have horse ears and horse tails, and they have human-looking feet. I haven't seen any barefooted, but I've tried. Lord knows I've tried to see them barefoot. I'm kidding. But their feet they all kind of wear heels, but the front of the heel on the bottom is horseshoed. So I would imagine if they took off their shoes, it would probably be a hoof hybrid of a human foot. You can talk to them. Like I said, they all have their own story. There's a overall world story. And simply put, you collect them and you race them. Okay? And if you place in a race, first, second, or third, you can enjoy a concert at the end of the race where all of the girls in the race perform for you a song, depending on the race that you won. There's like different locations of races and different lengths of races. And if your girl wins, she will be the front lady. Otherwise, she will be slightly off to the side and support the leading lady singing the song. But you can see your lady, your horse girl, sing a song for you about racing and dreams and things like that. They all have very different personalities, as real horses do. And yeah, so if you're still with me, we played that for like 5 hours. We ended the stream at like 3 a.m. And to my viewers who are the most anti-goon of gooners, eventually people in the chat were like, wait, I'm actually getting invested in this. Wait a second, this isn't so ridiculous anymore. Wait a second, there's actually a game in here that's pretty good. And I know you got your guard up. I know you're like, I don't want to be a PDF. I don't want you to be a PDF. I don't want to be a PDF. But there's a good game in here. And I don't know if I can explain the game loop to you very well, but I'm going to try. So as I said, it's a gacha game. So you have to scout horses. That is your pull. And you can pull 10 horses. You can get dupes of the girls. I'm going to say girls or horses. They're the same thing. And the horses, the girls, have all weird names. For instance, one of our horses' names is Rice Shower. One of my horses' names is called, I'm going to get this wrong. It's like Somali Rudolph. That's not right. One of our top ones was Tiana Top Gun, something like that. Tiano Top Gun. Vodka was one. There's some that I can't pronounce. They're like Japanese. I should probably just pull up a list. Let me just pull up a list. List of horses and yeah. Let's just go down the line just so you know. Okay, Silence Suzuka, Fuji Kisike, Gold Ship, Daiwa Scarlet, Mijiro McQueen, El Condor Pasa, Grass Wonder, Special Week, Narita Bryan, Air Groove, Manhattan Cafe, Fine Motion, Winning Ticket, Rice Shower, we said that one, Agnes Tachyon, Aishin Flash, Gold City, Kurin Chan, Seeking the Pearl, Shinko Windy, Sweet Tosho, Tosin Jordan, Smart Falcon, Super Creek, Bamboo Memory, Maddie Kane Fukuku Turaro, that's all one word. I did not do that right. Marvelous Sunday. The list goes on. I just picked out a few. Okay. Now, there may be different versions of these horses. Some may be starting out at 3-star, which seems to be like the highest you can pull. It can be a 5-star at the base level. Think of 5-star as like a base. Think of the star level as a base. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. You have your racers, your trainees, because you are the trainer. You train these high school horse girls to be good little racers. You have trainees. You can put them through a career, and that does not raise their star level, but it raises their stats. So then they can be veterans and join your overall team of horses, of which they can be experts at the different distances of races. You can have sprinters, you can have long racers, mediums, miles, and then they have different ways that they race. Some chase the pace, some get out front, some are late surgers, and they all have different ratings on what they're good at or bad at. You can be very bad. And then you have some that can be support horses through your career, which support your team by giving you friendship points and inspiration that make them faster, have more stamina, have more power, more guts, and more wit. All these stats would make sense if you played the damn game. So download the game. No, it took us a long time to figure out how to actually race. We're like, we thought this was a racing game. There's a lot of story, a lot of lead up, and it is kind of confusing to get into. But luckily, we had people in the chat who played the game, and they were able to walk us through it. I play the game, and I skip all the visual novel stuff. If you do not skip the visual novel stuff, you can lose hours to the visual novel stuff. I skip that. Underneath that is a game that is fantastic mathematically, where you have a finite range where you can take, again, we talked about a 3-star, 2-star, whatever. You can take like a sprinting horse girl and send her through the career. You only get one shot to send her through the career. You can have a copy of that character. You can have 2 Aguri caps. Aguri cap is one. You can have 2 or 3 of her. You can have a 3-star of her, a 2-star of her. If you level up her star before you do a career, she could be a 5-star eventually. That's a little bit of a grind, but you could do it. And again, that just sets her base level just a little bit higher. And if your support cards are really good and you have a good horse and they win all of their races in the career, because you can fail the career. You can send the horse to the career. They can fail it. And if they do, they have their rating. Let's just say their rating, if they don't do very well, would be like an E. And the rating goes from like S, I'm sure it goes from like, I don't have an S, it goes from like SS, A+, B, B+, C, C+, D, and it goes all the way down to like F. F being the worst. So you could come out with a 3-star who like didn't meet their goals, and they're just, their speed and stamina and all that is just a D or an E. But what you do is you keep doing careers and you incrementally get better and better, and you have like your legacy veteran horses piling on and helping your stats of your new horses that come through. And eventually, which is a fantastic game loop, if you play enough, you will eventually probably get a stable full of like S tier racers, of which you can take those racers into the game and go do races individually in the game against other people's teams. Or there's like events where you have to have like good enough racers to have multiple races for like a big event. That's the thing. The career itself has races that you do against, like, not real people's teams, but you watch the race. They have abilities that they sometimes hit. Like, it's kind of random, but depending on, like, if you have higher wit or whatever, you may hit your abilities more often than horses or girls that don't have higher wit. So for example, you may be coming around the last curve for the race and you kick in your ability and it goes into this big gotcha anime thing. And then the girl, like, we have one that was like, what was I saying? What did her name was? Say her name was like Simbali Rudolph. She's my best horse. I have a couple of copies of her. She's the best. She's like an emperor or something. And so it shows her like walking into this cathedral and she turns around and she's like an emperor. And that's her ability. And then she starts running hella fast in the match. And then it's like regular horses. It's always like, are we going to win or lose? And then again, remember, your career ends if you don't do top 3, top 5, get so many fans. There's goals as time goes on. You have to take turns to train or rest and manage energy. You can't injure your horse and have to send it to the hospital, the infirmary. I've never done that. I'm very gentle on the girls. But yeah, that's the game. And we were so invested in the races once we got the career going. We were like, should we set her to, she's good at pace chasing, but she's kind of a good front runner too. Should we set her as a front runner? Maybe she'll do better. Yeah, let's do that. Let's level up her speed on her training. Maybe we'll give her more power. But we were all rooting for her. And Mayano Top Gun, we were rooting for her. And you can go watch us root for her on the YouTube. I think we did a whole career for her. Yeah. This may be the saddest thing you ever heard, but it's actually a fun game. I put it on my phone and I've been masturbating ever since. I'm kidding. I don't masturbate to this, but I definitely enjoy the gameplay loop. And it's like, I totally understand why they have anime girls who are like mixed as horses, because in the world we live in, people will play the game for anime girls and horses and then find out, oh, there's a game here. It's actually really good. What I'm finding is there's a game here that's really good. And like, I wish I could extract the anime girls horse thing from the game and have like a different version of the game. It was a little bit more masculine and not so kawaii or whatever, or not so cutesy. It's not super goony. I mean, they're not, these girls are not like stripping free. They're not being like Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves is a little goony, I'll be honest. There's some big old tiggies. And there's some honkers in this one too. There's personally some honkers, but it's not as like, it's datey, it's cutie, like, I followed her to see what was wrong with her. Like, it's a little creepy with some of the story stuff, which is why I skip it. It's like, I just wish I was a good racer. And you're like the teacher or the trainer, and she's a high school girl. You're following her around, secretly stalking her. Yikes. But she's just a horse, right? So it's not real. They're just horses. So it's not anything really going on. But yeah, like if you extracted this game and gave it another theme, I would play that game so much. And so I am just playing this game a little bit more on my phone. And I don't know how long I'm going to play it. I don't know if this is going to change my personality. I don't know if this is going to change who I am as a person or my morals or what I think of life or anything like that. But I'm just happy to be here in a time where a game like this exists. And boy, I wish someone would take a game like this and make it into something not so cringy and weird. But yeah, go check that out. It's if you're confident enough to play a little anime girl game on your phone, give it like an hour or two. You will figure out the gameplay loop of it, I'm sure. You may need some help from the internet. I surely did. There's just a lot of lead up, but that's gotcha. That's not like this game. That's like gotcha games lead you up, dude. There's so many different systems to these games. But again, once you get them, it's like, oh my God, now that I have the systems, I love these systems. I need these systems. So yeah, I'm in a weird, it's weird, Christmas time. Some people get seasonal depression. I get into anime gotcha games, I guess. I have seasonal Gooner. I'm a seasonal Gooner. and I'm gooning hard. Apparently, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, these horse ladies, they've changed my life forever. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. This will go out then. I guess I'm gonna stream. I don't know what I'm gonna do though. I'm gonna do a long one because it is Christmas Eve, but I may skip it. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna go into it. Let's talk about the news now that I've confessed my sins to you. This episode is brought to you by Diet Pepsi. B tier soda when you have A tier needs. Also by Dick Pills. And Factor Food. We ship food to you. Eat the food. You lazy bitch. Anyway. All right. 007 First Light has been delayed. This game was slated to come out March 27th, end of March. And it has been delayed by a few months, and it is now taken over the GTA 6's old release window, which GTA 6 was in May, like late May, I think. And now that's in November, late November. And so First Light has said, hey, now that GTA is gone, why don't we do 3 more months? Because they know, as of now, there's not really anything coming out. Now, we live in a world where like another Arc Raiders could drop at any minute, another Expedition 33 could drop at any minute and crush their game. But with a game like this, it's not a service game. It's not an online shooter game. It's probably going to be a very finite story experience. You don't have to worry as much about those games. And I personally have been kind of on the fence about this game because on the one hand, I don't really care much about 007 anything. GoldenEye's great for a game. Like, James Bond's cool. If somebody said, hey, you want to go see a James Bond movie with me? I'd be like, yeah, man, let's go. Yeah, I'll watch that. Yeah, let's do it. Sounds fun. It's a dude movie. Spy shit, guns, explosions, cases. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, it sounds fun. But I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, dude, Walter Matthau was the best. He was the best 007. He was not. I know that's a joke, by the way. Kurt Russell was the best 007. I didn't like Jimi Hendrix as 007, but I liked Kurt Russell. He was the best one. I'm not that guy. My dad didn't watch those. My dad watched Westerns. I find that it's like the people whose dads really like 007, those people are kind of into 007, and that's totally fine. And I totally understand why you would be into 007. But I myself am like, they're okay. And so with a 007 video game, I'm like, do I care about the origin story of the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, new kid on the block, GoldenEye? Like, am I ready to start? This is going to be my goal. This is going to be my GoldenEye. And I hate to say it, but my GoldenEye is Pierce Brosnan. And Pierce, though he's a beautiful man, could drop at any minute. And whenever I was playing 007, I think I said GoldenEye, but you know what I mean. When I was playing 007, I was playing GoldenEye, and that's when like people's faces were not really faces. It was like taped on, and like you knew that it was a head and a body and guns and hands, but like it did not look like, that's not what they look like. And it was like a little, but boy, those games had good sound, and you could shoot do you remember in GoldenEye you could shoot people's hats off of their heads? You could shoot their hats off. That was the craziest shit you've ever done in your life. You're like, I shot his hat off. What the hell? That was mind blowing. And then you dome him, and you're like, oh shit. And there'd be like blood on their arms and stuff. Like no matter where you shot him, be blood on them. You could like dual wield. Damn, that game was on fire. And then multiplayer. I'll never forget, there was this girl. I went to this party. There was this girl, and like we were like, I think I was probably like 12 or 13. And it was kind of one of my first parties, and it was at some people's houses I probably shouldn't have been at. And they were all kind of younger too. And I remember I remember one of the dudes I was at there, like I smoked my first cigarette there. We were out back or something. I was like, yeah, I'll smoke a cigarette. Like, you want a cigarette? I was like, yeah, I'll a cigarette. Smoked my first cigarette. I was like, well, this is ass. My mouth tastes like ass smoke now. What else do we got here at this house? And there were girls and guys, whatever. And then he had a Nintendo 64 and he had GoldenEye. And I'd never seen it. I was like, let's turn this on. He's like, oh, that's a good one. Turn that on, bro. And I started playing it and I was like, oh my God. And I remember a dude came in and he was like, I'm not going to say the girl's name, but there was a girl who was like probably 14, 15. Let's say they're 14, 15. She was older than me by a year or two. Like I said, I was like 12 or 13. It's like, so-and-so showing her tits in here, guys. Come check it out. She's showing her tits to everybody. And you would think, Dalorrian, I was very much into women. Still am. Clearly, I mean, I'm playing horse Gooner games. No, love the ladies, but little Dalorrian there was getting his mind blown already. Little Dalorrian didn't have to see a fresh pair of teenage boobies. He was getting his mind blown and was making some memorable pathways that he does not regret. So no shame to him, because I was like, bro, whatever. I'm about to use my Watt laser to unlock this lock, and I got the silencer, and I have to go get this sniper rifle, and I'm about to jump off of this dam and get into a tank. And this is the craziest shit I've ever done in my life. I can't believe this exists. And then I think people came in and we played some multiplayer. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life. We can do this forever. Let's go in the caves and get a golden gun or whatever. Like, oh my God, like I could do this forever. Now that wasn't because it was 007. It probably had something to do with it, but it was because it was a shooter. Now, this 007 is made by the people that make Hitman IO. And I've been on the fence about this game, as I said, because I don't think it's going to do anything for me in the 007 department. But I do like those Hitman games. And I think I may pick this up because I really want to support those guys. Because when I look at this game, I think to myself, like, bro, this game's looking pretty good. This is what like the new Hitman's going to be like. And dude, when they did that Hitman game, like when they combined all three of the Hitman games and did like you had your house or whatever, like you unlocked different parts of your house and you had like your kind of like your roguelike missions that got harder and you unlocked like guns and stuff. You had your like roguelike missions, and then like the better you did at those, the more you unlocked your mansion. You progress like your mansion or whatever, and your career, bro. Civ, that was awesome. They may never do anything like that again. This game is not going to be that. This is going to be like a story game. This is going to be like race cars and oh shit, oh he's got his finger on the bomb button. Oh fuck, like 007, he kissed the girl. Oh God, oh she's a lesbian. Ooh, oh God, and like, oh, I knew what I was doing. I'm a 007, right? Bond, James Bond. Whatever. Mini penny, whatever. Like, it's gonna be like this is the story of James, and he's flourishing into a man's action. But look, you have to do this thing. You could go left and crawl up the building. You can go right and convince this guy to give you his waiter outfit. And you could choke this guy out in the back of a car and kill him. Like, you know what it is. You know what it is. And with all of that, maybe it sounds like I have some disdain for this. But I love those IO guys for making those Hitman games. Those games are so fun and funny. And I wish that this game would be funny, and I don't think it will. I think it's going to take itself too seriously. So I don't know. Maybe I still am on the fence, but they've delayed it. And if nothing's going on in May, brother, I might pick this up and just give it a whirl to support them. I think that this year is going to be a light year for games. I think 2025 has been a superior year for games. I think 2026 is going to be a lighter year for games. And if it's big, it will only be big because GTA is going to blow it up the world. But GTA will be so big that like it doesn't matter when it comes out, you know. But I'm saying everything, like if you take away GTA from 2026, there's not really anything happening in 2026 that I care about at all, that I can think of. Truly, I can't think of anything in 2026 that I give two shits about. First Light, I want to support them, but I'm not like I gotta get my hype on. That could change, but yeah, I don't know, man. But it got delayed, you know, and it gives them more time to polish it, gives them more time to make a better game. I am in a place in my life where I don't mind delays too much. But I just hope it's good. I was looking forward to, like, again, usually from like January to February, there's a little bit of a lull with the games coming out. With World of Warcraft, I'll have plenty to do. But yeah, you kind of hate to see it bounce because like, oh, in March nothing else is gonna be going on. I could throw that in, but if it goes, it goes. It's not that big of a deal. Let's go on down. Vince Zampella is a guy who he passed away in a car accident December 21st. He did not get murdered by his son like the Reiners. Yikes. But death is always a tragedy. And, you know, like, I don't know this guy, and he could have been a piece of shit or could have been a good guy, but everything that I've seen about him and people that knew him, like, they make him out to be kind of a cool guy, a decent guy, and not just a complete asshole, which, you know, typically people don't spit on people's graves, you know, because we're all going to die, and we all kind of have the weight of that, and I think we all kind of respect that in a way. Now with the Charlie Kirk stuff, you know, people were doing what they was going to do, spitting on graves in that way. But I digress. With this guy, though, it all seems kind of like positive, and you hate to see it. You hate to see people die like not of old age. Especially something like, you know, like when somebody dies of something like health related, like he had a massive coronary and he was kind of healthy, like John Ritter or something. I think he just died of like an aneurysm that was just like there. It's just like nothing you can do. He just had it, and sometimes you just die. Sometimes your body just fails. You know, it's not always like, did you exercise enough or whatever? Like sometimes, bro, your shit just breaks and you die. And those are always sad, you know. But it's kind of an easier pill to swallow sometimes because it's like, man, it was just his time. But then like you see this guy, and then there was like a NASCAR driver who's like wife and kids like were in a plane and they crashed and they all died. This is really sad now. This podcast has become so sad now. But you know, man, like it again, I don't ever want to come off as like I'm talking about this guy dying because I want clicks or something. Like you know, when Charlie Kirk, that was like kind of a massive deal. I didn't stream. I was like, I don't want to talk about this like just to farm it. And like you might argue some people are farming it, maybe even his wife. But I do hold life a little bit more sacred to that. So I'm very careful talking about a guy like this that I didn't really follow much or know or anything, but I do know what he did. And that's why we're talking about on this podcast, because this dude, he really affected my life. He did. He co-founded Infinity Ward. He shaped what we know of like early Call of Duty, which Call of Duty, like World of Warcraft, the zombies that they are, I mean, they're undeniably they've undeniably taken over the world. Call of Duty is a cultural icon. I could say my dad is like anti-gamer. He's the redneck dude. He don't know shit about games. I could probably say Call of Duty to him. He'd be like, them shooting games where you be out there shooting them Germans, man. He doesn't talk like that at all. Doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I think my mom would know what Call of Duty is. My grandmother, who's still alive. I'm blessed. She's still alive. She would probably know what Call of Duty is, bro. You know, and like when you have something that big, it's like, it's, you know, God, it's crazy. To be a part of something that culturally relevant, it's almost hallowed. It really is. He founded Respawn, man. Holy crap. Respawn. And he led Titanfall basically as a project. And dude, that High Guard game looks like ass. I'm sorry. The gameplay doesn't look like ass necessarily, but the artwork, ugh, just make Titanfall 3. Titanfall 2 was so good. It was so good. The only thing about Titanfall games is, like, if you just keep making Titanfall 2, it will eventually pop off. And Titanfall 2 did kind of pop off. But, like, in the world, like, in the streamer world, the streamers are so starved for, like, multiplayer games right now. You may not know this. And they may not say this, but they're starved for multiplayer games. You know how I know that? Because streamers are still milking the shit out of Arc Raiders. Don't think it's a bad game, but streamers are farming and milking Arc Raiders. If a Titanfall 2 were to drop right now, holy shit. Holy shit, there is a void. It would blow up because those games were great. Those games are good. They're so cool. And they're kind of hero shooters too. It's just your robots. Anywho, and eventually he became the head of Battlefield. And you know, like I said, there's like kind of a mass outpouring of respect from the industry. And you could say, oh, I hate the people in the industry. I love the people in the industry. You could say whatever you want. But, you know, this guy shaped genres as we know them with shooters. And this dude was a part of like what modern, like what the good shooters were, and like kind of what modern shooters are. He influenced that. And like I would argue that this, like what this guy was a part of, the good parts of Call of Duty that may still pique everyone, like good stuff of Call of Duty, just those few seconds of or Apex Legends, I guess, or like that, you know, that kind of running shooter fast twitch where like that stuff that peaks out like that. This guy was a part of that. And that's a big deal, man. So yeah, just want to mention that. You hate to see it, you know, because a lot of times, like, not to be super selfish, a lot of times these guys as they get older, if they've already had the track record to do something like that, they sometimes can come out and make changes again later. And so you hate to see somebody with this talent and this vision be taken away like a car accident or something. That just sucks, you know, that we live like in a world like that. I mean, again, it's better than like, I guess, living in the 1800s where like a horse could kick you or something, which, I mean, that still happens, but you know what I'm saying. You could die of dysentery, which I guess that still happens too, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, you know, these game devs, man, like there's people like this guy who live on. You know, they last, like their legacies live on, you know, longer than they do. And so, as someone who has put hours of my finite hours, I've put into Titanfall 2 and so many Call of Duty games and Battlefield. Just mad respect, man. You know, mad respect. So yeah, you can check out more on some of the stuff that he did and he worked on and everything. It's just sad, man. Just sad. But that's what's going on in the news. Another thing, I was talking to a family member about this at Christmas, and I think he was a little off on it, but it's okay. There is a controversy, and we talked a little bit about this last week with AI. AI, so controversial. The IGAs, I think that's the Indie Game Awards, have retracted 3 awards, and one of them was Claire Obscure Expedition 33, as you remember, won everything at the Game Awards, and everyone is on their knees for this game. For the Indie Game Awards, they originally won the Game of the Year and Best Debut, which they did at the Game Awards, which is different. But they have been disqualified due to undisclosed generative AI use. In the indie game awards, they have like a hard, apparently, have a hard anti AI generation policy. And the devs, the devs did admit, like, yeah, we used AI on some of the stuff, and it's kind of crazy because, like, I think it's cool that the indie game awards are like gonna like have that kind of policy. If they're like, no, dude, we don't want any AI in your shit. But it's like, where does that begin and end? Because if I were gonna make a game, just little old me, Dalorrian, by myself, or like me and a couple bros, and I could go in Unreal Engine 5 and I could spawn out a world, like a concept of my world, and be like, and I could tell AI, like, hey man, just throw some shit out there just to give me the bones, and then I'll go take the bones away and tweak them and put in like what I want, just create the playing field, and then I'll change. Like, to me, like, why would you not do that? And like, where does it end? So like, if the guy who made Expedition 33, let's just put it all on one guy, and I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter. Main director of Expedition 33. What if he just is talking to ChatGPT one day and he's like, I kind of want to make a game and I haven't done anything yet, but like, I kind of want it to be French. Like what could a name be? Like, I kind of want to do like a thing where like there's this painter lady and everybody dies every year depending on the number she writes on a wall that they can see. Like, what should I call this? Like, where's some ideas like around like the story? And ChatGPT says, oh, this is a cool idea, because it's always positive as fuck about everything. And it says, I would call it Claire Obscure Expedition 5 or something. And, maybe you have like a main character that's everybody likes, and then he has a girlfriend who, like, he dies at the beginning. This is a very light spoiler because that happens like in the first 5 minutes of the game, but he has a girlfriend. He like watches her fade away as petals, like that. You could start the game like that and everybody's going to be into it, and he's like, oh shit, yeah, that is a good idea. I was thinking something like that, but yeah, is that bannable? Is like spitballing bannable? Because to me, if you tell AI just give me a map, dude, and then I'm gonna just give me something to start on. I don't know. I think this policy may change in the future. I could be wrong. And I'm not defending Claire Obscure here because they've won. They don't need this. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. But it is interesting because, like, where do you draw the line? And maybe their policy has that. I'm not going to read it. You can go read it. I'm not going to read it. But awards reassigned. So Game of the Year then went to Blueprints, and then Best Debut went to Sorry We're Closed. Blueprints I've heard of. Sorry We're Closed, I don't think I remember at all. Let's see. There's some more to this story. Chanty, I guess that might be the leader of the studio of Expedition 33, which I'm also forgetting what they're, or maybe change. Let's see. I'm just gonna see. Oh, I still have my horse girls up. Chanty Expedition 33. Is that the? What is Chanty? There's one. I don't know. I can't figure it out. Let's see. Game director of Expedition 33. Let's just take a look. Guillaume Baroche. So it's not him. So it is Kepler Games developer Sandfall Interactive. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's not. Chanty's not that. I don't know what Chanty is then. I don't know what the article means by that. Sorry. Anyway, is that a game? I think that might be a game. It lost indie Vanguard recognition, not to the dev, but because the physical cart sold only via Mod Retro. Mod Retro owned by Palmer Luckey. Okay, I'm reading through this. God, it ties to military hardware. Oh, so the IGAs, okay, the IGAs removed that as well. Okay, yeah, people hate Palmer Luckey. So yeah, they'll remove anything for anything if you use the wrong tools there. But it's interesting because, like, I get what the indie game awards are trying to do. I truly do, and I kind of respect it, but I just think it's so difficult to draw the line on that. But they're independent. Can you believe that? An independent game awards chooses the independent games, so they can choose whatever they want. Is this just a dude somewhere? I wonder how many people are involved in that. But either way, transparency matters. But this is kind of like what we talked about last week, where Sven from Baldur's Gate 3, director of Baldur's Gate 3, director of Divinity 3 or Divinity, the new game coming out with the gross trailer. He's like, yeah, dude, we use some AI, man, just to spitball a little, just to get some things started, but we're going to take it out. It's like, people are getting pissed about this. And it's like, I get it's a slippery slope, but it is over. If you're fighting AI in your head, in your sweet head, if you were like, we have got to stand up to this AI thing, it's going to replace jobs. It's going all of our movies are going to be AI. All of our music's going to be AI. All of our games are going to be AI. It's over, dude. All of our content's going to be AI. It's over. We lost. It's just too damn quick, and it's getting too damn good. It's over. You don't give. AI has won, is what I'm saying, and it will continue to win. Because the whole world wants it to win. The amount of money and resources being thrown at it cannot match any other objective. Could you imagine if our world leaders and company leaders said, we are going to throw all of our money and efforts to ending homelessness and psychological issues? With the fervor, there's no money in that, though. There's no money in helping people. There's only money in selling to people or replacing people operationally. That's the world we live in. But could you imagine, if they freaking, there's so much effort. We have chip shortages because of AI. The planet is having resource shortages because we want to make super AI. And everybody piling onto that, countries and investors and billionaires and conglomerates, all have different reasons. But ultimately, the shared reason for them is, we'll all make money, or life will be better for everyone. It never really works out, but you know what I'm saying. Money will be made. I think the money's being made right now, by the way. But what I'm saying is AI has won. The world is bought in. But I don't say that to be like a doomer and dude, it's over. Fuck it. Blow your brains out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, there will be AI songs and there will be AI movies and there will be AI games that win Game of the Year. They'll be so popular. There will be restaurants that have AI attendants, hotels, businesses ran on AI that will win awards, that will be the top tier. This is the best product. This is the best version of this service. This is the best entertainment that's out there. That will happen. Buckle up. That will happen. I tend to believe that as humans, though that will happen at a crazy scale, I think that authenticity will still win out in interesting ways. And here's why I say that. One, because every movie you watch with CGI, everyone knows it's bad. Now, some people don't care because that's just the world we live in, but everyone knows it's bad. And with music, with auto-tune and shit like that, and super produced, it's it makes a lot of money, but we know it's not high quality. We know that. And so what am I saying? I think the art will survive. It may look different. It has to compete with AI now. But art has had to compete with technology for a long time. Like Lord of the Rings, bro, it's going to be the GOAT for a long time when it comes to movies and film. Being done well. AI is not going to make a new Lord of the Rings. It may make something close, That's another thing about AI is it really can't be creative, can it? It really can't make something out of nothing. AI can only make something copied and slightly changed. And you might say, well, that's the same with humans, dude. There's no real original thing that any humans ever made. No, I would argue that maybe there is some stuff. Anyway, don't doom it so much. There will always be a market for authenticity. I mean, hell, look at streamers. Look at this YouTube video. Look at this podcast. Well, however you're receiving this. The only reason I exist is because people don't want to watch, like, you know, Fox News, and like there's nothing on TV doing what I'm doing right now. There's tons of gaming podcasts and reviews and things like that, and streamers, of course. But like I'm saying, like it shifted. Like it used to be just turn on the TV and like whatever's on TV is what you have. And now like a lot of people go to YouTube, and like a lot of people don't like a lot of people are not bragging. Like a lot of people just tune into me. I'm just an authentic dude. I mean, I have a bicycle and a TV behind me and a Wi-Fi thing, and like it's just me, baby. It's just me. Like I'm not. This ain't the news. This ain't the news. This ain't the MLB. This ain't the NBA. This ain't NBC primetime television. This is just me. And some people would rather just hang out with something authentic and real than what else is out there, right? People are still going to want to connect, you know. Man, that was a soapbox, right? Long episode today. Anyway, maybe we should end with that. AI, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. AI, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It's gonna be all right. Hey, man. Hey, lady. Hey, lady. Oh, hey. Oh, shit. Hey. It's gonna be okay. Hey, it's gonna be all right. Hey, dude. It's gonna be okay, man. Hey, girl. Listen. It's gonna work out. It's gonna be okay. Don't worry. It's gonna be all right. You're gonna make it. It's gonna be okay. You'll be fine. Anyway, if you're still with me, that's my word of affirmations for you. And leave me a comment on YouTube. This is where this will be, obviously. Spotify, comments there. DalorrianTV@gmail.com. You can always write me there. If you have any comments, corrections, arguments, if you just want to be mean to me, I guess you could do that too. And then there's the Discord. You can always come there. We're always popping off in the Discord. You can always come in, hang out. And I think we even have a section for feedback questions. I'll read those and we will talk about it on the next podcast. If you throw something in there, we'll discuss what we get in there and go from there. If you have any suggestions for pacing, like content, things you want to see, games you want to see, throw it in there. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a super happy New Year. It's been crazy. I've been streaming since May, and I'm excited to keep doing podcasting and streaming until next May and come across like our little personal anniversary. You know, this podcast started in November. I've done some podcasting in the past, but this one, we have a really, I think, consistent structure, and I have a lot more support now than I've ever had, and a little community going, and you know, it's just ultimately really fun. So I think that we'll continue to have fun, and I look forward for us to be able to turn around very soon and be like, we've been doing this for a year. We're on episode 52, 54. How many weeks are in a year? Let me ask AI, how many weeks are in a year? Peace.